Well, we will be talking about the Argonauts as long as Ricky Ray is their quarterback, but he didn't even get to start the game.
No, the story tonight was about a guy named Zach Collaros making his CFL starting debut. That, and it's a rare Tuesday night game against the Lions. Check out how Collaros got things going.
Back in 2003, first down, and the heat's on. He gets away from Big Hill into the end zone. Barnes! Does he have it? Yes! Touchdown, Jason Barnes!
What a catch by the former Eskimo in double coverage, 7-3 Argos. Now 7-6 Toronto. Collaros hit Xander Robinson from a yard out, 2 TDs so far for this one.
Opponent defense is off balance. He's carried it 7 times for 27. Pressure on. Take a shot. To the end zone. Touchdown!
Collaros hooks up with John Childs for a 23-yard touchdown. 21-9 Toronto in the fourth. Travis Lulay under pressure. He loses the handle. Jansen Jackson scoops it up, makes his way down the field, but he fumbles it right at the goal line. Big scrum for it. Toronto awarded possession. 2 plays later, Steele leaps. He's over the pile. It's his first career CFL TD. Steele would tack on another touchdown late as the Argos avenge their Week 2 loss to BC. Collaros gets the win in his first CFL start, 38-12 final. We're about to introduce you to a member of a well-established and busy family that will likely make you feel a little lazy. She makes her living as a personal fitness trainer and yoga instructor, putting pro and recreational athletes through their paces in her basement, which doubles as a fitness chamber. And tonight she's flying to Italy, a trip she wasn't expecting to make. Adam Cook reports.
How are you feeling for starters? Good.
This is how Sue Agrios spends her days, helping pro and recreational athletes reach their potential and goals.
Heart rate looks good.
And soon, she'll be on her way to Italy, an unplanned trip, you might say.
Completely out of the blue. My weightlifting suit was actually framed on that picture frame that's empty over there.
The 46-year-old is a former competitive soccer player, nationally ranked badminton player, and weightlifter. But Agrios thought her competition days were over until she made a recent visit to her massage therapist.
And he asked if I was going. I said, "Oh, no, I'm done. I'm not competing anymore. My suit's been retired since 2005. And I felt so good the next day that I was like, kind of this little seed was planted.
Agrios decided to make a run at a third World Masters Games, but weightlifting is one of the few events that you must qualify for, and she had not competed in 8 long years.
So I took my suit out of the picture frame and hung it up to dry and lifted, and not only qualified but broke the Canadian Master national records.
Records that stood for 5 years. But one event is not enough for Agrios. She'll also be competing in 2 cycling events. She's won gold medals in badminton at the World Masters Games, but never in weightlifting. And this time she's using yoga to her advantage.
Been spending a lot of time in India and New Mexico and California studying with yoga masters. So it's been very interesting bringing in the whole meditation aspect.
And Agrios says she's actually a better weightlifter now than she was in 2002.
I'm actually, believe it or not, lifting more than I lifted when I was in Melbourne, if that's possible. I do have to say I did take a quick peek to see where the next Masters games are, and they're in New Zealand. I've always wanted to go to New Zealand.
Adam Cook, CTV Sports.
It's a very busy time for the Agrios family. Susan's father, Jack, will be in Moscow, Russia, leading the fight against doping in sports. The lawyer who helped bring the World Athletic Championships to Edmonton in 2001 will attend the same event in Russia, and he'll be presenting a new code of ethics in athletics to the Congress for the International Governing Body of Track and Field.
From what I understand, it's different if you test positive in different sports, the penalty. So if you were to test positive in track and field versus cycling, the bans can be different. So I think they're looking at basically sport and you know, the penalties and what should be done when people test positive.
And 2 of the top 5 sprinters in the world, Tyson Gay and Asafa Powell, recently tested positive for doping. A few members of the U of A Pandas rugby squad helped Canada make history at the Under-20 Nations Cup in England. They had to pay for their own way, but it was well worth it.
Nobody's ever won the tournament except for England, and so we were the first nation to take the cup other than them.
The The Canadian girls stopped England's run at the U20 Nations Cup, beating them on their own turf. They also defeated South Africa and the USA twice, including in the championship game, to claim the trophy. And the Canucks also kept the opposition's medical staffers quite busy.
We were apparently the hardest hitting because our ambulance count was the highest.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many players did you injure?
Oh, I don't. Quite a few. South Africa, we at least had the ambulance on twice. England, we had it on once.
Yeah.
And I think the States, we didn't have an ambulance,
States, we
but
didn't
we
need
took
an ambulance,
a lot of
but we
girls off the field.
Sarah Haring will be suiting up for the Pandas next season, but Paige Ferries is on her way to BC to train with the national team. Blue Jays in Oakland tonight, trying to end A's 4-game winning streak. Top one, Jose Bautista gives the Jays the early lead with one swing, his 25th of the year. Meanwhile, Mark Burley getting the ball for Toronto gets 6 up and 6 down to start the game. Bottom 3, Burley gets some help from Brett Laurie. He robs Adam Rosales of a base hit. Jays still up 1-0. Top 4, 2 on. Colby Rasmus, weak hit to left field. Yoenis Cespedes bobbles it. Looks like it hits him right in the wrist. Jays take a 2-0 lead in the 5th. 3-0 Jays, a grounder to short, but Rosales boots the throw to second. Jose Reyes comes around to score on the error, part of a 3-run inning for the Jays. Toronto gets a win in Oakland with a 5-0 final. The greatest Canadian basketball player ever to hit the pitch for a pro soccer tryout today. LA Lakers point guard Steve Nash, who was raised in Victoria, BC, fulfilled a lifelong dream by trying out for the legendary Italian soccer club Inter Milan. Well, it was more like an honorary tryout, given the fact that Nash is 39 years old. He is also part owner of the Vancouver Whitecaps of the MLS. And finally tonight, check out this slam dunk orchestrated by a couple of kids at a backyard pool. You can count them up. There's 5 different kids getting touches on the ball before the slam. We have no idea where this is or who these kids are, but who really cares? That's pretty sick.
Or how many kids were injured in the making of that video?
It would have taken a couple takes.
There are kids flying in from all over the place.
Yeah.
That is impressive, though.